August 1957, Levittown, Pennsylvania attracted international attention when violence erupted as William Myers, Jr. and his family moved into the 3-bedroom house at Daffodil and Deep Green Lanes. In almost all respects, the Myers family is close to the Levittown norm. They have 3 small children, the youngest only 1 month old. Myers served for 2.5 years in the Army and was discharged as a staff sergeant. He works as a laboratory technician and is studying for a degree as an electrical engineer. His wife, Daisy, is a college graduate. The Myers home is modestly furnished, and their late model family car was bought on time. They are very close to the Levittown norm, except in one respect. William Myers, Jr. and his family are Negroes in an all-white community. Levittown reacted in a number of ways to the new arrivals. There were several hundred who congregated on the street in front of the Myers house, and there were those among them who felt strongly enough to throw a rock through the picture window. But there was another large group who were repelled by this kind of behavior and organized to help Levittown accept its first Negro neighbors. The vast majority of Levittowners went peacefully about their daily activities, but in the stores and at the schools and on the front lawns, Levittowners discussed the Myers.
Well, I first read a small article in the newspaper that the first colored family had moved into this community, and following that, why I began to hear on the radio and read in the newspaper that there was some disturbance around this home that these people had bought.
What was your initial reaction?
I was terribly shocked to find that there were people in this community who would be so violently opposed to it. I rather thought that everyone would just accept it as I would.
Was the community prepared in any way for the entrance of the first Negro family into all-white Levittown?
Well, there was an attempt by a group of ministers who formed a group called the Human Relations Council, and they were just getting started on their work. I don't know how they expected to ultimately accomplish the purpose of educating everyone, but I know that they had an open forum one time, and just within the last 3 or 4 months, and the results of it were published in the paper.
Do you feel it was effective?
No, I'm afraid it was just a drop in the bucket. Not very many people even read or were aware of the article or of the meeting that preceded it.
Although there had been little interest in the formation of the Human Relations Council some weeks before, the Myers became the main topic of conversation for the people of Levittown within a few hours of their arrival. In the absence of fact and authoritative information on a situation like this, rumor and gossip sweep through the community. As the stories pass from one person to another, because hardly anybody knows the truth, what everybody is saying becomes the fact.
Oh, I heard lots of rumors. I was busy telling people not to believe them.
What kind?
Well, that they'd been sponsored. Chiefly, I think people resented, after they heard this rumor and believed it, they resented feeling that some outside group had deliberately moved these people in, that they were sponsored and paid by an outside group to do this very thing. And I had been told on good authority that that wasn't true at all, and so I told people that it wasn't true.
Do you feel that understanding the facts of the situation will help?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm sure that a more reasonable attitude is going to prevail in this community, and I have great faith in the people here, and that they'll soon find out there's nothing to be afraid of.
Some view the incident calmly and indicate acceptance of the fact. But for others, the Myers moving into Levittown constitutes an infringement of their own liberties, and under the impact of this situation, they react with anger and force. What they say reveals their deepest fears and frustrations. Why did you select Levittown to live?
We were looking for a place to buy a home. We looked at Levittown, and we liked the homes here. We liked the advantages that Levittown seemed to offer in comparison to other cities. And we understood that it was going to be all white, and we were very happy to buy a home here.
How about your children? Have you talked with them about the Myers?
We have tried to keep the discussions away from the children. I feel that it's something that we adults should solve without bringing the children into it any more than we have to. We're doing it for the children, but I don't feel that they are old enough to understand the problem as it is.
Do you think a Negro family moving here will affect the community as a whole?
Definitely.
In what way?
I think that, well, the property values will immediately go down if they are allowed to move in here in any number.
Can you give a basis for that judgment?
Yes, we used to live in Washington, D.C., and we saw a very good example of that there.
The repetition of an experience that was distasteful. Is there to be no escape from living near Negroes? And what of the dream of middle-class respectability? If a Negro family can afford what you can afford, how do you justify your feeling of superiority? The illogic of one's own position becomes apparent, and in self-justification, the old tribal myths are invoked. What other objections, aside from the effect on property values, do you have against the Myers?
The whole thing centers around the word integration. Well, as Mr. Myers said, because his home has been anything but peaceful since he moved in. He's got 3 children, and evidently he feels that they will be accepted socially. And I don't feel that they ever will be. But the whole trouble with this integration business is that in the end, it probably will end up with mixing socially. And you will have, well, I think their aim is mixed marriages and becoming equal with the whites. But the only way they're going to do that is by education and by bettering themselves, not by pushing in the way they have here.
Do you intend to move?
At the time, no. It's a pretty impossible situation. We have our home here, and if the colored move in and run real estate values down, there are a lot of us, the GIs particularly, who are going to be more or less stuck with their homes.
As the lines are drawn, those on either side become more adamant. Tension develops and feeds on suspicion and mistrust. What has been the effect of the Myers coming here?
Well, it's created a great deal of tension, not among the neighbors, because we all feel the same. But it's naturally made everyone tense in their home. I mean, this is affecting our homes, and it's bound to create tension. It's the subject that's talked about all the time.
But there are others who are for the Myers?
Yes, I've read about them.
For what reason, do you think, do they support the Myers?
Frankly, I don't know what reasons they can have for it. If they are homeowners in Levittown, I don't see what reasons they can have for it.
Do you think Myers will be able to live here comfortably?
Comfortably? No.
What course of action are you going to follow?
I'll do what I can to help to get them out legally and peacefully. And as far as accepting them socially, if that's what you mean, I could never do that.
To take sides in such a situation is more than a matter of one's own conscience. What a man believes becomes a subject for community debate. For those who believe a man has a right to live anywhere he wishes, the answers are simple and straightforward. Has this affected your relationship with neighbors?
No, we've discussed it freely. We found people for and against, but we've tried to keep it being discussed. That was the important thing.
Have you heard any rumors?
Many. I won't repeat them because I don't like to repeat rumors, and I don't think it's fair to keep them alive.
Do you think rumors contributed to the reaction of those opposing the Myers?
Surely they did, but we had some very interested citizens here who pledged themselves to a fact-finding group, and they tried to dissolve those rumors as quickly as they were started by facts.
Do you think the Myers will be able to live comfortably in Levittown?
I think so. I hope so. I think the majority of people here will grow accustomed to it and realize that, they can be good neighbors, which I'm sure they are. And I think the majority of people here are not the violent, violent group that we have heard so much about.
Do you think the Myers staying in Levittown will affect property values?
I don't think that the Myers have anything to do with the property decreasing or increasing. I think it's purely a white problem, not a Negro problem.
In what way?
I think it is the feeling of the majority group which will influence the property, not the minority group.
Those who want an integrated community take their stand based on their own deep feelings of what a community should be. Do you feel that the Myers will lead to large numbers of other Negroes coming here?
No, I don't think so. I think that there will be probably a normal entrance and not a deluge. I mean, people who want these homes will come here. It's not what people say that, influx. There won't be any such thing. There'll be a normal, I hope, and because I would like to see an integrated group here, and I would like to see, my child, and I hope my children go to and live in a group that is representative of the world, and not being an integrated group, it is not now a representative of society. Of course, we've all discussed this, and we've all said that the answer to the problem is eventually when you find that there are no more areas to which a white person can move without having a Negro family in. Well, that would be the best end that there could be to segregation, and it is probably something that will happen in the future.
Why, hello there, neighbor. How goes it?
Fine. You get a new boy yet?
I'll have one before the day is over.
Well, I guess I'll see you later then.
That's okay, right on the inside. Here you are, folks. Step right up. Your show's just going to start once again on the inside. Hey, listen, you see this little game we have over here?
Yeah.
That's what they call the African Dodger.
Oh.
Now, I usually have a little colored boy that stands behind there, places his head in the hole, and the natives come along and throw the balls at them.
Oh.
I sell them 3 balls for a nickel. A boy here yesterday.
Oh, you had a boy yesterday?
Sure, I had a boy yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Where is he today?
Well, you see, a baseball pitcher came along, and by mistake,
He picked up the iron ball.
You get a boy?
Well, I should say, and I've got one I don't think you can hit.
What about that little colored boy I hit yesterday?
Well, what about it? Whose fault was it?
Well, whose fault was it?
Well, whose fault was it?
It was his own fault, wasn't it? Where's he now?
He's in the hospital. That's where he is. His nose broken in 4 places, all on account of you throwing that iron ball.
Oh, gee, that's kind of tough for him.
You'll
That's all
have
I
to-
have to say.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Well, that's the fellow that hit the colored boy with the iron ball in the head yesterday.
Oh, that's the reason the colored boy's in the hospital.
He's the reason.
Well, that ain't gonna be the reason. The white boy will be there tomorrow.
Now, wait a minute. Just a minute. Come here. Listen.
Ouch! Ouch! At least on this job, the rest of me is safe. Unscratched even.
I sell the balls to the natives, and then they throw them at the colored boy.
We had called them bike hikes. We were just going out to go explore your world.
It would be at least 6, 7, 8 of us. Our parents said as long as you were home before the streetlights came on, you stayed as a group, you're fine.
It was a beautiful day, sunshine. The children in the neighborhood planned to go on a trip to McDonald's, just have some fun, something different to do.
Rosedale we thought was a safe place. We all went down, we were riding our bikes.
And then we saw down the block that there was this beautiful American flag blowing in the wind.
We saw a group outside on the block, so we was like, oh, this is a block party.
The last thing that I remember was someone saying, oh, a parade. And so we went down to go see the parade. And I laugh about it to this day because it was a parade to get the black people out of Rosedale.
It's the summer of 1975. White residents in Rosedale, Queens are protesting black families moving into the neighborhood. These are scenes from a documentary produced by journalist Bill Moyers.
Does he have a right to live here?
No.
Why not?
Because he's black.
This was not the South. This was not Greenville, Mississippi, or Spartanburg, South Carolina, or Atlanta, Georgia. This was right in the heart of the greatest metropolitan area in the country.
The documentary was found nearly 45 years later by a graduate student who posted a short clip on the internet. It went viral on Twitter and Facebook. And a question people kept asking, Where are the kids now?
Hey, Rob, this is Whitney Hearst calling from the New York Times. My name's Whitney Hearst. I'm a journalist.
To answer that question, we called more than 90 people who had lived in Rosedale at that time.
I was trying to find anyone that might have known someone.
We couldn't find any white residents who said they'd been there.
Came out because it got a little bit crazy.
But we spoke with several of the black children. We wanted to hear what happened to them that day, to understand why their experience is resonating decades later.
We went down to see what was going on, probably in the middle of the blocks. That's when we figured out it was something else. And it was something that we definitely were not invited to.
We noticed that they were running towards us. I was like, wow. You know, like, why are they rushing towards us, not thinking anything negative? And then we heard, nigger.
And they surrounded my best friend at the time, Marina. One of the young men hit her, and they started calling us names. They started throwing rocks.
Hearing the word, hearing it directed at me, why are you calling me that? That's not me. You know, I've always been told that's not me. I didn't understand. I was like, who do you think you are to say we can't come here? Like, how dare you?
What happened to you?
This little boy, he threw the rock. He tried to hit my sister, but he almost hit me about that much away from me. And I sure wish he had hit me with that rock. I would pick up the rock right next to me and hit him right dead in his face.
I was just kind of amazed to see that people can act like that, to tell you the truth. But that was like really the first where I was like, wow, people do not like black people.
They gonna always do that. They always spit on us like we some dogs. They always gonna spit back on them. Ain't nothing gonna change.
I immediately was reminded of those programs my parents would have me watch with the dogs and the hoses and people trying to vote and being killed and lynched. It went right back to my history in this country. It just linked me immediately with that whole experience because I felt it.
Do you forgive them?
No. No. Can't take back no hurt.